Alright, still driving in traffic and taking risks with my phone since I don't have a real way of mounting it. But anyway, one of the things we talked about today is in the bench press, Penny had asked and Ananda had sounded off as well about the fanny coming off the bench. Now, let me say this first and foremost. If it's coming off the bench a little bit and you have no plans to compete in a powerlifting meet, it's really not that big a deal. You know, there's going to be people out there that are going to go, oh my God, your butt, you know, whatever. You know, if you have no inspiration or have any desire to compete, I wouldn't worry about it. But if you do, and in Penny's case, she has a meet coming up, the first thing I want to look at is foot placement. And if they're really far under you and you're doing that, I always try to say, instead of making a big full sail change, and this goes with everything we do, a lot of times I'll give you guys a cue on something to make an adjustment, and then you make a big change. I will use Ananda as an example because it's fresh in today. And so when I name names, I'm not picking on anybody. I'm not, singling you out and going, look at how terrible this person is. We're all trying to learn here. So I want to be clear about that. But it's a great example, and you can go to her page because she posts her training and posts her training videos. And it's a great learning tool. And I was telling her that she was touching too low, so she immediately made a big sweeping change and touched super high, and you can see that she struggled. So in these instances when we struggle, it's okay to pull back the weight. And so her form improved, and we'll start work. We have some things now that we can work on. I think it gave her a better illustration and understanding of what I was after and how just to make an adjustment. So back to Penny and the feet. If you're someone that benches with the feet way under you, you may want to make a little adjustment back out, and vice versa. A lot of times it can be those little adjustments, that will change your leverage. And in Penny's case, I think one of the things that has created some of this struggle, because this has really started happening since she went to the home gym, and you can see going from gym to gym, and again, Ananda is a good example because she's had to travel and use some different benches. Those heights, even a quarter to a half inch can make a significant difference in how a lift is going to feel and how you execute your form, and will make you adjust your technique on the fly even if you don't realize it. I think the second reason why for Penny is there's no longer a handoff, and while she's really adapted well to the Rogue hooks, the bottom line is it's different, and even 4 to 8 weeks may not be enough time to make a full adjustment. And so my gym, as an example, I have a Forza competition bench, and I love it. I have another bench that was built, it's a great bench, they're used in competition all the time, that are basically built off the Forza specs. Supposedly the same bench, and I hate it. Now I bench on it, and I can bench basically the same as the Forza, but it feels very foreign to me, and I own the thing. So these are just examples, but make that adjustment. The other thing is, usually that means if the butt is coming up, sometimes the width of the foot placement is maybe a little too narrow. So give it a little stretch where you're pushing and can feel those hips. Now the other thing is, a lot of times if you're pushing up, and I'll go back, that wider foot placement tends to make you dig into the bench. You can't really, hip the fanny up off the bench. The other thing is probably how you're pushing. If you're just pushing the feet down, then you're probably going to raise that fanny up. That's just the way it works. So push the heels like you're trying to push the bench to make it move back. like you've put your feet against the wall and you're laying on a chair and you're pushing that chair away from the wall. Hopefully that makes sense. And that will help you too to also feel when you squeeze the scapula together and really expand that chest, you'll feel how it digs your traps and even rhomboids and upper back deep into that bench and gives you more leverage, and therefore there's your explanation for leg drive. You're not pushing up, you're pushing through and pushing back. So hopefully that makes some sense, and I'll still try to do a video. What I might do is wait till tomorrow. One is Jen's a lot cuter than I am, and she's probably a little more articulate than I am if she's willing to do it. So, but hopefully that helps you kind of in your head, you know, visualize what we're looking for there to help you keep from raising that fanny off the bench.